Hi, I'm Jessie.
And I'm Lisa.
And we're the Lisa Abbott team. And in this video, we're going to go over the 7 most common mistakes that we see first-time home buyers make when they're looking in Oshawa. If you like videos like this and you want to see more content, please like and subscribe to our channel.
Well, one of the very first mistakes is not narrowing down your home search. For example, you can't have a search that is both broad in price range and broad in area. So you can't say, I want to buy a home between 5 and 900,000 between Oshawa and Kingston. I mean, how can you look for all of that? It would just encompass too many properties. So you need to narrow at least one of those down. So if you wanted, let's say, a specific type of property, you might have to extend your radius search because you might not find it in Oshawa, but you might find it in Port Hope or Peterborough or something like that. But you got to be able to narrow one of those down, like your price or your area down, so that an agent can search, because it's very difficult. How could you search all of that? And depending on your price, you just got to make some concessions that might be necessary. But at the same point, as you see things that are selling, you got to be a little bit reasonable and understand that you might not find what you're looking for in one area. You might have to go further east or out, like we said, like to Peterborough and that sort of area.
Yeah, so essentially, most of the time you get to be picky about area and you work with your budget in the area, or style of home and you're willing to drive a little bit farther to get exactly what you want.
Exactly.
The second mistake that we see first-time buyers make is that they're immediately afraid of condo or maintenance fees, and they disregard all the homes that could have a condo or maintenance fee. And the issue with doing that is those are typically the most affordable price points, especially in Oshawa. And if you're looking for a home that is a similar price point, you might have to travel farther than you're willing to. So our advice is always, if you're going to consider homes with a maintenance fee, consider it at the beginning of your search, because the way prices have been increasing, you honestly may get priced out of even those. And if you're going to consider it at some point in time, let's consider it right at the beginning. And of course, you talk to your mortgage broker about it, make sure that works with your pre-approval, but also that the individual maintenance fee on the property that you are considering makes sense and is worth it to you, what it includes, that sort of thing. But yeah, don't be hasty in disregarding all of the condo or maintenance fee options right away, because there are some really great options in Oshawa.
The next common mistake that we see often is when a buyer starts focusing on the list price rather than where it's going to sell. So, there is no rule of thumb out there that something's going to sell 100 over or 200 over, or maybe it'll even sell at market value or right where it's listed at. It's very difficult to say. The only way you can tell what a seller might be expecting for a sale price is by doing a little bit of a search of the area and what the neighbors have sold for around the corner or on the same street, just to get an idea. And it has to be a recent sale as well, because you don't want to get excited every time you see something that's listed for $499.9, thinking that's that's going to be where it's going to land, because certainly that's not the case for most of the time. So you really got to just put the list price out of your head and stick with getting your agent to check what has recently sold, and very recently sold in that area.
Yeah.
To kind of make any decisions on what you want to do.
Because that'll be the best way to show what the market value of that home is. Check similar style homes that have most recently sold.
Exactly.
This brings us to our next point number 4 of common mistakes. Learn from those sold prices, right? So if you are trying to purchase a, let's say, 3-bedroom semi in a specific area, look at what 3-bedroom semis in that area have sold, and your agent will pull you recent comparable sales, and that's key. They have to be recent sales for homes in a similar condition and a similar style. And when they're pulling that data, realize that you're going to have to pay a similar price to get a home in a similar condition, right? And don't be afraid to compete, right? We're all always a little bit nervous about going into multiple offers, but the truth is pretty well everything is going to have multiple offers, and you just need to be aware of where the pricing is so that you're not submitting offers that have no chance, right? You want to be competitive, and your agent is going to pull comparables for you to help you bring the best offer you can.
Exactly. So common mistake number 5 is not working with a local realtor. Now, it is wonderful that your third cousins, veterinarians, uncle's sister got their license out the other side of Toronto and you just want to support them. But the problem is if they don't know the area, they can't guide you properly. They need to know the area so that they know what the problems are in those areas. Maybe an area has knob and tube. Maybe they're known for high-tech plumbing in a newer area. And these are just things you want to watch out for. So these are really, really important. And if you've got an agent who's just pointing out positives every time that you're going through the house, that's a bit of a red flag for us. Because the one thing we do when we show homes is we tell our clients right from the get-go, we are going to point out every negative thing that we see in that house so that, it doesn't mean you don't buy the house. Some of the negatives might be a big deal to you. Some of them, not a big deal. But you need to know going forward what's out there and what the problems might have. And we don't want any surprises. If they're going to be surprises, we want them to be positive ones, not negative. So we want to kind of make sure that we're getting that all pointed out to you.
The 6th mistake that we see buyers make are turning down homes based on things that they can change. So things like proximity to the 401, things like, you really dislike the neighborhood, it backs onto a plaza, stuff like that. That's fine. Keep looking. If that's a non-negotiable for you, absolutely we toss that home into the garbage pile. But if it's things like, Barney purple walls or, really horrible shag carpet or, whatever the case may be, really consider if that's something that if you changed, the layout would really work for your family or the neighborhood is great. Focus on the things that you can't change as deal breakers and think about the things that you can change as opportunities to update your home and give it your personal touch.
And our final point is trying to outsave the market or waiting for the market to crash.
We hear this all the time.
Yeah.
I just want to save another $20,000. I just want to save another, $10,000. And the truth is, if you can get that pre-approval now, the market's going to save more than that for you. It builds you more than that in equity.
When you look at from August 2021 to December of the same year, the average price in Durham Region went up $150,000. I mean, nobody can save that much. And that's the problem. And if you don't like what you can afford now, you are definitely not going to like what you can afford in 6 months or a year. And that, we can't stress that enough. And what happens if the market were to do a correction at all? Usually the people that get hit the hardest are the first-time home buyers. So you might qualify for $700 now, but it doesn't mean that if the market were to take a correction that you probably won't qualify for that amount anymore, and you will probably even be able to afford less than you could. This is what happened in 2017 when there was the stress test came out. I mean, who got hit the hardest? The first-time home buyers got hit the hardest, and suddenly they could no longer afford a home when they could before, or at least a significantly smaller home is what they were able to afford, and it hurt them the most. So
the entry-level price points are always going to be the ones that get hit the hardest in any situation. If your entry level price point now, you're still going to be entry level price point if there was some kind of a correction or worse, right? And that's what we would hate to see happen, is somebody who is in a position to make a purchase now, waiting to put themselves in a better position, and really it having the opposite effect. If you want to talk about any of this more or have any questions at all, we do have a link in the description to our Calendly where you can book a call with Lisa or myself, or both. Sometimes we do that too, and have a chat about anything real estate related. We hope that helped.
Have a great day. Bye.